From Lalate headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons Lalate.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons Lalate, and I'm back with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In today's recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you. The American people are getting $3.5 trillion of checks in the fourth stimulus recon. But Bernie Sanders says a historic day with a lot of checks for the American people. In the second half of this video, we go over those checks. Then the bills, the vote, and the voting has started. I'll go over the votes and the voting results that happened today. Recon bipartisan, all heated up. I'll go over all the details, and Chuck Schumer's promise. We will be done by the August recess, yes. And then we cut to fifth stimulus across the board. Raise your benefits up lifetime. Meantime, viewers are getting upwards of $32,000 on this channel. I'll show you how to get all this deliciousness as well. It's a big afternoon. It's a special live broadcast with a lot of breaking news. And this is Afternoons Lalate. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful day. How you doing? Oh, it was beautiful weather this morning. It was literally 55 degrees overnight here in Santa Monica. It was gorgeous overnight. This morning, it was so cold, you had to defrost the windows in the car. And then it got a little bit sunny, a little bit hot, but now it's cooling down. It's a little bit on the hot side this afternoon. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather in the live chat right now. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, so much breaking news. That's why I'm live with you with a special Afternoons LA broadcast. Evenings LA is new tonight as well. First, we're going to go over those monthly stimulus checks and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we got to the recon. Done. Deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you in the fourth stimulus recon. Yes, I'll go over all this deliciousness in the second half of this video. And then we cut to the voting. The voting has actually started today. It's exciting. Recon bipartisan. We'll go over all the voting pass and what's happening and why Schumer promises we're going to be done by the August recess. And then we get to this deliciousness. $32,000 is being gotten by viewers this channel from third stimulus money for rent and food and more. I'll go over how you can get this as well. And this is LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons, but I'm here with you, a special live broadcast on Afternoons LA. Coming up next is a new Evenings LA. This video will take you automatically there. A new Overnight's Crypto, that'll come up after that. And then Sirloin, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. I want you part of this loving family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut to that monthly stimulus check starting right now. House versus Senate, House versus Senate. Well, slightly differences of both the number of months and also the payouts. Let's go over everything you need to know starting right now. When you look at the House bill, pandemic plus 1 year, what do you think? Well, that's a lot of checks. Pandemic plus 1 year House bill. Let's compare that to the Senate, July to December. Let's go over the payouts. Here you go. $1,000 a month for the House after the first month, Senate monthly unknown. But word on the street is the Senate would pay you this. Deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Dr. Fauci just said a few days yesterday that the pandemic is far from over. And with the pandemic far from over, that means that that House bill would pay more than 1 year checks. It would pay pandemic plus 1 year, which would be more than 12 checks, which would be more from the House than $13,000. Compare that to this and the Senate. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? You do. Democrats represent that if you got a third, you're getting a fourth. Single individual, $75,000 less. Democrats represent you get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 less. Democrats represent, you get a forced stimulus check, double it. Family of four, Democrats represent, you get a forced stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits like SSI, SSDI, and SSA and VA, Democrats represent, you get a forced stimulus check. It's not income, it's not taxable. And the Democrats represent the same amount for everyone, including my adult dependents. But it's not a waivable check. I learned my lesson, unfortunately, last weekend as well. I went to Senator Ron Portman's pork belly roast. Who's Ron Portman? He's one of the guys, lead guy on the Roads and Bridges bill. He's also the guy from last year who said, get back to work, you're lazy, I'm cutting off your unemployment benefits. Well, I walked in, I got a pork belly sandwich, and it was uncooked. It needed more work on it. So I went up to Senator Portman. I said, hi, how are you? Hello, Ellen, I recognize you from your purple shirts. How are you? Very good. I didn't want to wave at you, Senator Portman, from afar. I know that's sort of rude. I know, I'm not a waivable check. Well, Senator Portman, your pork belly sandwich is a little bit undercooked. Can you get back to work and cook this a little bit more? Let me cut off your unemployment benefits. Get out of here, Ally. He didn't like my humor, did he? There you go. The forced stimulus recon heats up. And that forced stimulus heats up with $3.5 trillion of checks coming to you. Not from Ron Portman or a sandwich, but Bernie Sanders and everyone else. This is what Bernie Sanders calls a historic day for the American people with so many checks you deserve. I'm going over that in the second half of this video. Then we cut to the voting. The voting's actually started today. We'll be going over the two items, the recon and the bipartisan. We'll be going over Schumer's promise that we're going to be done by the August recess and all the breaking news. It's the final 15 minutes of this video. That's why I'm live on air. There's a lot of breaking news. Stay with me to the final 15. And then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up lifetime. But let's get some money. Boy, when I started recording these videos a few weeks ago, I said I can get you $5,000 of rent, 4 to 6 months of rent. I was wrong. It's not $5,000, folks. It's this. Oh my goodness. Elizabeth, Mark, Nancy, Richard, Nisi. Unreal. These are the numbers that viewers of this channel, Purple Power, Lalate viewers, got for rent in the last few days. Elizabeth has gotten $27,000 for rent because of this channel. Mark got $25,000, Nancy $24,000, Richard $22,000, and Nisi $22,000. Today is your day to get this big money as well. When I talked about getting utilities, I said, well, maybe I'll get you $300 of utilities. Then some viewers started getting $3,000, and then this. Oh my goodness. Wow. Nancy. Whoa. $7,000 was gotten for utilities from Nancy. Mark got $6,500. Angela got $65,000 for utilities from watching this channel. And then for Snap, I say I get you $5,000 to $6,000 for Snap. What happened with Snap? Louis, whoa, $18,000, Louis. John, $10,000. Nancy, $5,000. Oh my goodness, congratulations. Everyone congratulate these people. And then people who got combo items, 2 or 3 or more items, got this. Oh, Lord. $32,000 was gotten by viewer Nancy from watching the videos of this channel. Mark got $32,000, and Nisi got $23,000. This is what we do, and this is Lalate. In spring of last year, I launched this channel because people's EIDL loans and EIDL grants were not coming. Under the law, it said they were to be paid within 3 days. We did not hold up a calendar and say, 3 days have passed. I'm on my 4th day. What day is my check coming? Let me track it. We didn't track checks. We cashed them. And I got viewers $25 million of EIDL loan checks approved. Got them to cash those checks, save their businesses, their homes, and also their employees' homes. In fall of 2020, same issue. Second stimulus was not coming. Second stimulus check was not approved yet. So there was no check to track. We cashed them. That's what we do on this channel. We cash checks. We don't track them. And I got viewers $250,000 of money for rent. Like Tyrone, his family 4 out of Boston paid all their rent, $15,000 from December to the spring. Now we're doing again. The only difference is you. You are absolutely incredible. Get a pen and paper ready because I'm going to show you today on this afternoon's Lalate rare live broadcast how you can get this big money as well. Get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to show you how to get some money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities right now. Each place has different eligibility. Reach out to one and reach out to the next if you get a no, because they all have their own eligibility. They have their own pot of money as well. And finally, listen to the keywords I'm going to mention, because the keywords, viewers tell me, are what's helping get them approved. All right, you're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or a muddled blue. No, this is Casey Royal Blue. Thank you for Canute for that wonderful dancing pair on the Afternoons LA show before this. So this is for Canute, a Casey Royal Blue, just as today. Tomorrow won't be Casey anything. Thank you, Canute, for that super chat. And there you go. Congratulations to anyone who got money for rent, like Tim and Linda, and also utilities. If you got money for rent or utilities, post it in the live chat right now. Let's cut to that money for Snap. Louis, $18,000. Linda got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. What is SNAP? It is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. What is the eligibility? It's easier than a stimulus check. How much does it pay? A fortune. A family of four out of Boston, a family of four out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year now. Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% nationally between now and December. So go get it. And we are killing it. You're killing it. If you got Snap, post in the live chat right now. $27,000 for rent, $18,000 for Snap, $8,000 for utilities, and we're only 11 minutes in this video. I got more money for you right now. It's coming back from your states. The states have been ordered to return money back to you due to overpayment of unemployment benefits and a computer error. Where's the lining direct deposit? How do you track it? Call up your state. Say, hey, state, where's that check due to computer error? And this time when you track it, can you plug in the keyboard? And then last, the wonderful refund check coming back from IRS. Margaret got it, Cog got it, Michael got it. But before I continue with that, here's a message I got to share with you. If you're in the live chat and you haven't posted your success stories for rent, utilities, mortgage, or internet, please do, because the love of this channel is what inspires this channel. 3 wonderful things happen when you post your success stories in the live chat. Number 1, when they see my numbers on air, they get inspired. But when they also see you write the numbers, viewers get inspired to go get that money. When viewers see that Nancy and Mark got $32,000, they get inspired to go get that money. So post your success stories in the live chat right now so people see I can go get it, everyone else's as well. Second, viewers like Art Sullivan, who got 3 items, and Nisi, who got 3 items, inspire other people to get multiple items. So Mark, surprisingly, only got 2 items of $32,000. So Mark, get to it. You got another item to get. It'll get you to $40,000. And finally, it updates us about the numbers, because maybe we thought that utilities was $300. Now we see that utilities is paying a lot more. All right, let's cut back to that unemployment benefits. IRS tells us that they're coming in a waivable check. Sorry, Mitch. The latest wave, the average payout is $1,265. The latest wave started July 14th, and paper July 16th. That's the first one was direct deposit, a new wave every week. When is it landing? Well, let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You pay $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes and unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. Can you track it? Yes, 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov, do transcript search, and reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid. It'll also reveal some stuff you wish you never knew. Like when Ron Portman was on Star Search. Was that hairstyle he did also from Amazon Hair? And also reveal the refund check coming back from IRS. Can we top that? We can, as we go into the second part of your 4th stimulus check update, starting right now on the special live Afternoons LA broadcast. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you under the 4th stimulus recon. Bernie Sanders called this a historic day for the American people because this is all checks. These are all checks, and Bernie Sanders says it's his historic day to get all these checks out to you. We're starting a list, and it's sort of like, you know, at the delicatessen when they say they'll have the little thing where you take the card and you wait for them to take your order. If you don't want these $3.5 trillion of recon money, put your name on the list. We'll just share it amongst the rest of us. How do we get to this wonderful spot? Because originally, before July 4th, the recon had roads and bridges in there and made the recon bigger and unpassable. But what do? They took the roads and bridges out, making the recon smaller, and put those roads and bridges into something called the bipartisan, making the recon, your money, passable. The confirmation comes from a conservative publication written just days before the $3.5 trillion price tag. One, the higher the price tag was on the recon bill before, the harder it was to pass. There you go, confirmation. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon and put it into the bipartisan roads and bridges, it made the overall price tag of the recon smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. But here's what you also need to know, is that the recon made the bipartisan passable. Both of them are now passable. And how do we get there? Because once they shrunk that recon by taking the roads and bridges out, the progressives were able to add more money in and make it a big, bold number. $3.5 trillion. That's what those progressives want, and they got it. Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat out of Minnesota, said, we have to have a recon that goes as far as we want it. She got it. $3.5 trillion. Congratulations, Elon. And Representative Richie Torres said, we have to have a larger recon. You got it, Richie. $3.5 trillion. Congratulations. And the Progressive Caucus was meeting with the White House daily to ensure they get a big enough number. They got it. $3.5 trillion. How did they do this? By protecting the recon. The White House had told the progressives, protect my recon because everything in there is checks that you want, progressive checks. Representative Jalopal and Senator Schatz confirms the White House saying, quote, the White House considers the progressive priorities in the fourth stimulus recon their own priorities. So what's a recon? What's the difference with a bipartisan? What are the other words for this? Who writes it? And when do we see it? Let's go over all the details starting right now. On this channel, I use only two terms, recon to refer to your money and bipartisan to refer to the roads and bridges. But ironically, broadcast media is getting almost an F+ rating on their coverage of the subject because they're confusing the terms, they're using the wrong term for the wrong path, or they're using one term to refer to both of the paths. Let's go over the terminology so you'll know it better than they do. First, recon, your money, also called reconciliation. What are the other words for it? It's also called the budget bill. You'll recognize it by the price tag, $3.5 trillion. You'll recognize it by the people quoting the article about it, like a Bernie or a Nancy. Then bipartisan. What is it also called? Roads and bridges, or infrastructure. You'll recognize it by its price tag, less than a trillion. People quoting an article about it are Kristen Sinema, Ron Portman, or Mitt Romney. Okay, who writes? That's pretty easy. Who writes the recon? The recon is written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. But the actual authors who put pen to paper are the House subcommittee members. These aren't a lot of people. Those House subcommittee members who are Democrats are the lead authors, with the Senate subcommittee members helping them. Under the Constitution, House subcommittees are delegated different subject matters. For example, House Ways and Means is responsible for writing about stimulus checks and also unemployment benefits. When each of those subcommittees are done, they take their 10 pages, they send them up to Schumer. Let's say it's 10 subcommittees with 10 pages. He combines it, and it's 100 pages. He puts a big S on it for sugary, salted. So what? Schumerish. Laverne and Shirley. No, for Senate. And when we have that, then we have an emoji. Not law yet. But at the moment, what emoji do we have? Not bill yet. We don't have the bill yet. And what's important to understand is that under the Constitution, there's no requirement for those subcommittees to show you what they're writing, what they're not writing, what they're taking in, what they're taking out. They don't have to show you. And until we have it, we don't have it. But when we do get the bill, which is covered later in this video, it's not going to be law from that bill. In fact, the Democrats have indicated they're modifying the bill. That's great news for us. I'll explain that later in this video. So what you need to know is that both broadcast media and myself agree where we are currently. Sort of like a pop singer who has an upcoming album. She doesn't want you to hear the songs and doesn't want Ron Portman to start dancing to any of them yet. We don't have the recon bill yet. So if you hear someone saying, I haven't heard of this in there, guess what? Because we don't have the bill yet. Not bill yet. We have an emoji for that. How do we top that? We top that with Jalopal, who recently wrote Schumer a letter saying, Chuck called the vote on the recon. Well, he is. More about that in a second. He confirms he is calling the vote on the recon, and it's going first. Oh, boy. That letter was signed from Jalopal was signed by 12 House Democrats who are among the 100+, who recently wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting monthly fourth stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Yes. Can we top that? We can. As 7 members of that House Ways and Means Subcommittee, the same one I just went over? Yeah, that same one. Recently wrote the president a letter saying, we're putting monthly fourth stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Oh my goodness. Now, Purple Power, you got to keep these people their promise. They promise, this House Ways and Means Subcommittee, that they're giving you monthly fourth stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. They also say they're giving you fifth. And that's coming up later in this video. Can we top that? We can. As Biden did it, he got the official tongue twister into law. 6 weeks ago, the president went overseas to have a ceremonial signature, and that ceremonial signature was followed up by the real signature just a few days ago. It's for a tongue twister, a confusing thing called the Global Minimum Corporate Tax Rate Minimum. Oh, I'm exhausted just saying it. I feel like I ran a 5K marathon just saying that. Why is this great news for fourth stimulus? It's great news because it's a confusing thing. This thing is a confusing thing, and it's not in the fourth stimulus. Number one, easier to write the fourth stimulus because it's a confusing thing ain't in there. See, I can't even say it. Easier to call the vote on the fourth stimulus because this confusing thing ain't in there. Easier to vote on the fourth stimulus because this confusing thing ain't in there. And easier to pass fourth stimulus because this confusing thing ain't in there. Can we top that? Yes. As we go into the final 15 minutes of this video on this special live Afternoons LA broadcast where we go over the recon and the bipartisan going to the finish line, says Chuck Schumer, by the August recess. He confirms both of them will be done by the August recess. Second, Schumer, Pelosi, McConnell, Joe, Jollipaw all spoke about voting in the last 48 hours. They also spoke about today's voting. Yes, there's been voting on one of these items. I'm going to go over which one had the voting. And then we learn a little bit more about what McConnell and also Ron Portman said in the last few minutes. It's all heating up, and it's in the final 15 minutes of this video. Then we cut to fifth stimulus as well. But is there something more wonderful than that? Yes, the volunteers. If you've watched this video and you've had problems finding that rent, utilities, or internet, you've looked yourself, you can't find it, don't worry. That's the spirit of a loving family. This is more than just videos. It's a whole community. Viewers helping viewers have stepped forward, and they are the volunteers. They're on the community page. How do you find them? Open the description of this video. Go down the description. You'll see the volunteers. They're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them and help you get that money, and I'll be back with you in 60 seconds with this special live broadcast of Afternoons LA. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. They're Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Late Daily for the excitement of the new LA Late live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA Late at 9 a.m. Home LA Late returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then Afternoons LA Late at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late. And the excitement continues right now on Afternoons LA as we go into the final 15 of the final 7 in this live broadcast on Afternoons LA. We'll be going over this vote that happened today and also everything you need to know about what's happening by the end of the week. Someone made a big promise just a few minutes ago about things getting done by the end of this week. I'll go over all those details coming up right now. And this is LA. Make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the channel, pinned comment. Let's get right into that fifth stimulus. And this was what the president had promised during the campaign trail. but was unable to deliver after he became president. Don't worry, because the Democratic members are taking care of it for you. This is fifth stimulus, and this would be this fall. It would raise your benefits up, and it would start by a legislative drafting in September, out to a vote about November, benefits hitting your account in November, and then the benchmark being going in December for next year. How does this work? Let's go over all the details. First, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. Then they'll remove the asset cap, add the inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over everything you need to know starting right now. First, who gets this? You do. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. Your benefits will be raised up one big time under fifth stimulus. Step 2, they'll apply a new benchmark. When? December. What will the benchmark be? Inflation. Where is inflation going? It's going to be transitory. What does transitory mean? It's a fancy word said by Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, last week on Capitol Hill. It basically refers to a temporary spike of inflation. That temporary spike is December. How high? I've been reporting it's going to be about 5%. Whoa, and that's what Wall Street is saying. So wait a second, Jay Powell says the spike is going to happen right when they apply your benchmark? Yes. Whoa, that's great news. So let's do the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. Then they'll apply the benchmark. And that benchmark, let's say it's 5%, will raise your benefits up another 5%. Not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. If the inflation rate is 2% the year after that, you'll be a +2, +5%. It's wonderful news. Then they're going to move the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law. This is you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. You'll have room to have some teal. No teal. No muddled, no sorry Crayola. This will be Casey Royal just for today, because Canute gave that beautiful super chat on the prior afternoon's LA broadcast. And room for some stimulus checks. Tomorrow it won't be Casey anything, though. They're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work. And then finally you'll be able to do a pair dance like me, because guess what? The marriage penalty is going away. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and have a pair dance at their wedding and no longer fear loss of benefits. Your benefits will be restored as well if you were suffering from the marriage penalty. And that's fifth stimulus. There will be a fifth stimulus check. Those House Ways and Means Committee members will represent as well. Finally, if you're in the live chat and you notice people who have an emoji of a purple hawk emoji next to their name, and you wonder, how do they get that? Consider becoming a member. It says under the video, join here. Also at the top of the description, in the chat and under the description of the video, join here. Members are getting big sums of money from this channel because guess what? The one thing they've learned from me is that all these stimulus packages have more money in the application-based items than the stimulus check. In fall of 2020, there was a $600 stimulus check. I told you not to focus on the $600 stimulus check and that I would be able to get you $6,000. I was wrong. I got viewers like Tyrone, $15,000. And then with third stimulus, I said, don't focus on the $1,400 stimulus check because I can get you $14,000. I didn't get you $14,000. I got viewers $32,000. It's a big difference. And these sums of money are all in the stimulus packages. They're application based. As a member, you're delivered daily from me a breakdown of all the big money that is available in third stimulus for you to get. And when fourth stimulus and the $3.5 trillion of checks that Bernie Sanders is ecstatic about, and I am as well, becomes law, I'll be focusing on you Purple Hawks to get that money as well. Hawk. So consider becoming a member. And with that, let's cut to the final 15 of the final 7, starting right now with that recon. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. Done deal. The Democrat caucus met twice in the last week to confirm they're doing the recon, and they're doing it $3.5 trillion, and they have 50 of 50 Democratic senators to pass it. Great news. So that recon is a huge amount of money. It's a fortune. It's all checks, and it's all checks for you. Bernie Sanders went to the meeting asking for $7 trillion. He got $3.5 trillion. Why was he ecstatic afterwards? Because he got 100% of all his programs paid for, 100% on the dollar. He just said for a shorter period of time, probably half the amount of time, because 3.5 is half of 7. Now, while we do not have the recon yet, we don't have the bill, we do have some of the provisions. And there's just checks for everyone. As you've seen from third stimulus and second stimulus, it's these checks where you get the big sums of money, $10, $15, $20, $30,000. And I'm going to ensure you get every penny of these checks as well. A lot of checks also for seniors and also workers. Let's go over some of them Here's just some of them. Free school meals for all, checks. Tax break, checks. Cheaper prescription medication, checks. Immigration reforms, checks. Farming, checks. Election, checks. Internet, checks. They're going to provide fortunes to your local cities so they can offer free internet connection to you as a citizen. And then clean energy checks. Here comes my money for my workers and my seniors. First, my workers. Checks for workers, checks for unions, checks for collective bargaining, independent contractors checks. And then seniors checks, Medicare expansion checks, lowering the eligibility age checks, dental checks, vision checks, and hearing care checks. All right, let's get over to the roads and bridges, the bipartisan. The roads and bridges and the bipartisan has a bill. They've actually written the bill, and they've actually introduced the bill on the Senate floor. This is a result of all the success for Chuck Schumer advancing the bipartisan. He had 3 votes over the last 7 days to advance the discussion. He got it by getting them to work and getting them to move it along. They've introduced the bill this week. The bill for the roads and bridges is on the Senate floor. Number 1. Number 2, Ron Portman appeared on broadcast media early this morning, right after Early Mornings Lalate aired on air, and he said he thinks that the roads and bridges will pass and become a law by Friday. That's his promise. Number 3, they're currently voting on the roads and bridges right now. Whoa, that's great. Now, hold up. It's not before the recon. I'm going to explain this to you in a second. That's coming up in 1 second. And number 4, is Chuck Schumer confirms to the American people there is 2 paths, the recon and the bipartisan, and they're both going to get into law by the August recess. Oh my goodness. All right, now let's go over the recon. The recon will be going for a vote first before the bipartisan. Now, we have the confirmation from Joe, Nancy, Jollipaw, and Chuck. Chuck has confirmed it twice in the last 7 days. Joe, the president, said it much the same. He said the infrastructure cannot only, as to the infrastructure, roads and bridges, he said if it only comes to me, and that is the only one that comes to me, the bipartisan, I'm not signing it. It has to come in tandem with the recon. And then the president also said in the following quote, the bipartisan bill, roads and bridges, was always understood that it's part of a second part. I'm not just signing the bipartisan bill and forgetting about the rest of what I propose, the recon. I propose a significant other piece of legislation, recon, and both parts are equally important to me. Great news. Then we have a confirmation from Schumer that the recon is going for a vote first in the House. Then we have the confirmation from Nancy, who had an emergency meeting last Thursday. Bernie Sanders called it, and Bernie Sanders called the emergency meeting to assure himself that Nancy still held her position that the recon has to pass the Senate first, and she held the same position. Nancy reassures us that the recon has to pass the Senate first and land in the House first. Otherwise, she's throwing the bipartisan in the garbage can if it lands first. As I said, there won't be a bipartisan unless we have the recon bill first in the House. Plain and simple. In fact, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan unless we have the recon bill passed by the United States Senate first. That's Nancy. And then we have Jollipaw confirming the same. We did a poll of our members, and these are Democrats. And the overwhelming majority of our Democrats said they're not going to vote in favor of the bipartisan without the recon first. Great news. All right, let's go to the vote. There has been voting today. Now, what I want you to understand is that this is not voting to make something into law. This is voting as to amend something. So great news here. I have been saying over the last week, I said I'm not sure when they're going to do the amendments to the bipartisan. I said they're starting the Senate, then they're going to the House, and then going back to the Senate. But I said I'm not sure if they're going to do that amendments at the end or at the beginning. Great news. They're saving time by doing the amendments already. They have already voted on and voted against certain amendments on the Senate for the roads and bridges. Again, that does not mean the roads and bridges are going first. It's just the amendments, but it saves time. It's great news. What's going on with these amendments? So this is all breaking as well. It's this afternoon. Ron Portman and the bipartisan group, like Kristen Sinema and Mitt Romney, have all said we are going to stay in solidarity and try to get this roads and bridges bill to the finish line without any amendments. We don't want to be derailed by amendments to try to kill it. Number two, Mitch McConnell has asked Chuck Schumer not to do something that would prevent any amendments. So Mitch wants some amendments, but he doesn't want the amendments to hold up anything, which I think is fine for Mitch. I think that makes sense. Chuck Schumer has not spoken whether he's going to disavow amendments or allow them to continue. What is Portman's concern? There's an amendment called, for example, a poison pill. You'll hear this term in the corporate finance world. If one company tries to buy another company, the company that's about to be bought may put a poison pill into its operations, so that makes your company not interesting to buy enough. And so Portman is worried that certain people in the Senate may try to put an amendment that will make the bill, the roads and bridges, poisonous, and that you won't want to like it. So he's trying to push back against it. That's good news as well. So really promising news as well across the board. Let's cut back to your recon. Now, your recon, when it debuts on the Senate side, it will debut as a bill. The great news is that the bill will get modified. And I got to hit this topic a lot for you. The recon, when it debuts on the Senate side, will get modified after that. We have an emoji, not law yet. You're going to see the bill, and it may be imperfect. Guess what? Democratic senators and Democratic House members have already said, I'm modifying your recon. Why? Because the people who have written the recon are just about 10 people, 12 people, 20 people. They're not a lot of people. They're the people on the subcommittees in the House. And guess what? There's 50 Democratic senators who haven't had their hands on it. And there's over 100 Democratic House members that haven't had their hands on it. They want to modify stuff. That's great news for you, because purple power, it's not law yet. And if you look at it and there's something imperfect, they can still modify it. So with that, you have to ensure you push through the entire finish line, because when you see that recon, there's stuff to change. Next, $3.5 trillion is confirmed. The Democrat caucus has been polled about it and has voted twice that they're agreeing upon the $3.5 trillion. So that is done for purposes of the Senate. The House could still go a little bit higher. And if they do, then it has to go back to the Senate to modify it. Finally, Chuck Schumer assures the American people everything will become law by the August recess. Do I think it's going to get done by the August recess? It may need an extra day or two, but not a lot. Do I think Ron Portman's comment that they'll get done by Friday is true? It could be true. I really don't know. It's 50-50. I don't think it's too optimistic, and I think it's also attainable. So I think he is right on point. Next, I've seen some comments from people talking about the House and recess. Great questions. Let me go over that right with you right now. The Senate is currently in session. The House is in what's called recess. If you're with me last year, I had a whole series on this video series called Hi Fox News. Exactly a year ago, Fox News ran these stories that said, but they're not in session. So you're not going to see anything for 12 months. They're on the other side of the equator. You know, that was sort of the hyperbole of the articles. It's happening again. Not necessarily Fox News, but elsewhere. Understand number one. What does in session mean? It means the door is closed in the House floor. It doesn't mean the House members are not in town. Not in session is not the same as not in town. It means that the House room, the door where they vote, is closed. It doesn't mean they're not in Washington, D.C. That's number one. Number two, even if they are not in Washington, D.C., Steny Hoyer, Democrat, who determines the schedule in the House, says, yeah, who cares we're not in session? I'll bring them back into session when we're ready to vote. Done. Done. Number three, Nancy Pelosi brought people back all the time in the House in 2020 to get things done when they were, quote, not in session. It takes 24-hour notice, and they're back in session, whether they're in town or not in town. At the moment, they're not on the other side of the equator. They are not gone for 5 months. I've seen all these stories and just all these sort of comments is not the case. So the word in session means the door's closed. They're down the hall. And even if they do leave town eventually, doesn't make a difference. They can be back in town within 24 hours. And there you go. Coming up next is Evenings LA at 5 o'clock. It's a new show tonight. This video will take automatically to there. It's a big new Evenings LA that goes more over this incredible voting news. Then coming up, after that, is a new Overnight's Crypto, brand new, taped minutes ago, with the surprising detail that Chris and Sinema added a cryptocurrency regulatory provision into the roads and bridges. I broke this news on Friday. I told you it was going to implode the cryptocurrency industry over the weekend. I said it was going to implode by Monday when broadcast media was back in the studio. It did. So you're going to see that as well. It's very important to understand that legislation because there's a lot of Republicans and a lot of Democrats who are talking about taking that out during the amendments of the roads and bridges. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers are YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video. 2,000 to 3,000 likes. Every like's help. And stay with this channel. Coming up next is Evenings LA. This video will automatically take you to Evenings LA coming up in about 90 minutes. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.